Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by Canadian women's national team and North Carolina Courage goalkeeper Sabrina D'Angelo. Sabrina, how are you?
Doing well, and yourself? Thanks for having me.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for doing it, and I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. Sabrina, the name of the game is really random. That's where I ask you a random question and you give me the real answer. Some of these questions are custom made just for you, and some of these questions are generic ones that I ask all the people I interview. So here's the first question. Superpower you'd love to have?
Ooh, probably being able to fly.
Favorite movie?
Oh gosh, that's a tough one. I'll go kids movie. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Ooh, good one. Favorite color?
Yellow.
Favorite guilty pleasure?
I'm a big chocolate fan, so going crazy on some M&Ms.
Sabrina, 2016 was a big year for you. As a member of the full Canadian women's national team, you earned your first cap and your first clean sheet all in the same day. You won a bronze medal at the Olympics in Rio. You won the NWSL championship and were the game's MVP. And you had your first puck drop. So is it fair to say that 2016 was the best year of your life?
Yeah, definitely the best year of my career for sure, and one I'll never forget.
What's the bigger accomplishment? Winning the NWSL championship with a team that no one even thought would make the playoffs, or winning a bronze medal at the Olympics and representing your country? What's more important to you?
That's a tough question, and a couple of people have asked me it before. Both are very special moments, and I mean, that was my first Olympics and my first ever medal at the Olympics, and it wasn't the color we wanted, but to be able to go there and represent my country and to earn a game in that Olympics was an unbelievable experience, and the team was so special, and just to have such a variety in age and styles of players, it was definitely very special. But I think with the Flash, just us being the underdogs and it being a true underdog story, and to be able to help them out and kind of play in the final game was very special for me, and especially in the finals, making a mistake on a goal and then them pulling me out and getting the 2 goals to get us to PKs and me kind of helping them out in the end. It was special there too. So both are special moments. So I don't know if I could choose between either and being better.
It seems like every time someone writes about you or talks about you, they only mention that you won a bronze medal at the Olympics. Very rarely will I see someone say or write something about how you won the NWSL championship and were the game's MVP. And it's very shocking to me because what you did last year was by far, in my opinion, the best performance any athlete had in any sport. What you did was amazing in that championship game. People all the time say a goalkeeper in penalty kicks, if you just stop one, you'll do pretty good. Just get one and things should go your way. And you got 3 in that game. What you did was absolutely fantastic, and I can't believe more people aren't talking about this, but that's just from my point of view. Now, I could be wrong, but does anyone bring up what you did in that game?
Yeah, you know what? A lot of people have brought up that game and just the PKs and everything about it. So I think it just depends on who I'm talking to. A lot of Canadian people obviously are going to go with the Canadian team and my accomplishments there. But when I'm in the States, a lot of people are recognize the NWSL now and just that final game. So I think it depends on who I'm talking to.
How satisfying was it to win the NWSL championship? Because I'm seeing some parallels between last season and your senior year at South Carolina, because your senior year at South Carolina ended with you not being able to play goalkeeper due to an injury, and this year you suffered an injury. It was the same injury but on a different arm, and you came back and finished out the year. And that year at South Carolina, the team had never made it to the quarterfinals. That was the furthest the team ever went, and it was unexpected. Not a lot of people thought that the team would go that far. This year, no one thought that Western New York Flash were going to go all the way to the championship and win it. So I'm seeing some parallels here. Did it feel like winning this championship was like finishing unfinished business?
Not really. I think they were different chapters in my life. South Carolina, although I didn't get to play in that game against Florida State, I'm satisfied with the way I went out there. Unfortunately, it was due to injury, but my final game at Stone Stadium was an amazing memory against Clemson that I'll never forget. So I think once that happened and once the injury occurred, I was able to kind of accept that and close that chapter. And then to kind of just move forward into my pro season and, I don't know, going into PKs. I enjoy PKs, and I think that was just more of like a professional accomplishment that I was aiming for that year. So to be able to kind of check that off the list was huge.
Before the game, Taylor Smith told you that you would save 3 shots if and when the game went to penalties. Now, where is she getting the number 3 from? Is that because she's a psychic, or is that because she knows how tough it is to go against you in penalty kicks because all of your teammates say that it's very hard to score on you? So where did she come up with the number 3? And how did she know that you would save that many?
I'm not sure, because when we went into the huddle before PK, she's like, Sabs, you're going to save 3 PKs today. In my head, I'm thinking, like, yeah, okay. Like, usually a goalkeeper gets 1, but 3 is, like, a little far-fetched. But I'm not sure. I think that's just, I'm going to go with that's her confidence in me. So we'll hope it's that.
Now, talk me through these 3 saves that you made during that penalty shootout, because I have some theories on some of these saves and how you made them that I wanted to run by you and see what your thoughts were. So let's start with the first one, the one that you made against Allie Krieger. Now, she's someone who's famous for making a penalty kick. Her penalty kick that she made in the 2011 World Cup against Brazil is very well known. So I was thinking why you went left is because she went left in that penalty kick against Brazil. I was thinking that's why you decided to go to that side. Is that something that you thought back to in that moment, and that's why you decided to go left? What were you thinking on that shot?
That was more so reaction. I think that felt better more so from a point of the save from me to the fans, just because they had been ripping on me that game. So it was kind of a feel-good moment to walk back to the outside of the box and just see the fans not looking too happy at me.
Now, for the second shooter you faced, I don't have a theory. The one against Tori Huster, what were you thinking on that shot?
Honest, it was just Krieger's and hers. It was just like an in-the-moment thing. Just kind of going with my gut and using my explosiveness to get there.
Now, there was no doubt in my mind that you wouldn't save that last shot, because when I saw Diana Matheson step up to take the last penalty kick, I knew it right there. I called it. I said you were going to save it. The 2 reasons why I thought that you would save that last penalty kick is because, number 1, earlier in the year, when you guys played against Washington at home, you faced Diana Matheson in a penalty kick, and she went right and scored on you. So I was thinking, well, if it worked once, it might work again, so she'll probably go right. And I was thinking, well, maybe you were thinking back to that game and decided to go right. And so I was thinking that's why you were able to save that shot. And so I knew when she stepped up that you were going to save that one. And then my second theory was because you probably faced her 100 times over again in practice with the Canadian women's national team, so you probably know all of her habits because you've been training with her. So that's why I knew you were going to save that shot. What were you thinking when you faced Diana Matheson in that championship game and made that save? What were you thinking there?
Yeah, just being Dee's teammate, there was a little bit of thought going into it, and I knew which way she had gone before, and in practices she practices both directions, so I just went with what I thought she'd be more comfortable with and what her tendency was to do, so just went with my gut, and thankfully it worked out for me. Unfortunately not for her, but she got me back at camp recently, so it's all even.
One thing I've always wanted to know is, when you're with your national team, do you talk about the games that take place in the NWSL? And vice versa, when you're with your NWSL team, do you talk about the national team games? Did you and Diana Matheson ever talk about that championship game? Did she ever say anything to you about that? Did she ever say, like, how did you know I was going that way? Or how did you stop that? Did you ever say anything to her about that game? Do you guys talk about that kind of stuff?
Not really, no, unless somebody else brings it up or it's brought up in camp kind of by an outside source. It's not really talked about. We're there for the national team and just kind of a different thing, kind of.
You really don't get a lot of time to celebrate your accomplishments, because when you won the bronze medal at the Olympics, you didn't get a lot of time to celebrate that medal because you knew that you had to get back to the NWSL and help the Western New York Flash make a playoff run. So this time around, how long did you celebrate the victory before having to refocus and get ready for the future?
Honest, not too long. I'm someone who just kind of, puts my accomplishments aside and looks to the future and the goals I have with the Canadian team and in the NWSL for this season. So I enjoyed it a little bit and kind of celebrated with my family for maybe like a couple days when I returned, but then I was back to work because there's things I want to accomplish in my career still.
The Western New York Flash are no more. They were sold and moved to North Carolina and became the North Carolina Courage. When did you find out the team had been sold, and who gave you the news?
We found out the weekend before, something like maybe a week before. I honestly couldn't even tell you how many days in exact, but we had a conference call with the owners from the Courage and from with the Salins, and just letting us know what was happening and when it was going to be released to the public, and yeah, it was pretty much how it worked.
How did you take the news when you found out the team had been sold? Because the Western New York Flash, that was the team that drafted you, that was the team that believed in you. I know your family loves coming to all the home games, and it was very easy for them to come to the home games because from where you're from, Welland, Ontario, it's only about an hour away, so I know they love coming to watch the games live and support you, so it was very easy for them to make the drive down and watch you play. So when you found out the team had been sold, what was your initial reaction?
Bittersweet, to be honest with you. I was excited just because it is a new chapter, but then a little bit sad because, like you said, I was so close to home, and honestly it was 45 minutes from home to our training facility, so I enjoyed that, and just mostly for the fact that I'm extremely grateful for what the Salins family and the organization has done for me. Being drafted as a goalkeeper and an international goalkeeper, and one that wasn't going to be allocated, like you said, they gave me an opportunity in this league, and I'm extremely thankful for that. But I think for us as a team, moving down to North Carolina, it's going to help us just from a fan base and facilities and everything like that. I think it'll be excellent, and I'm very excited, for sure.
What's greater, the sadness of not going back to Western New York and celebrating a championship season by playing another season in front of the fans who supported the team the whole way through last year, or the excitement of starting something new in North Carolina?
That's a tough one. My mom was actually talking about this today. She asked if it was going to be upsetting that we wouldn't be able to celebrate the championship with our fans there in Rochester, and I am a little bit upset that we don't get to give back to them for all the support they've given us over the years, but that's just the way sports work, and I'm hoping at least some of the fans will make their way down to North Carolina for at least the game. But I don't know, I think it's a new chapter, and things will be great down in North Carolina.
Now, I'm remembering back to your senior year at South Carolina. You had this very unique accent. It was a half Canadian accent and a half Southern accent. Since you're returning to the Carolinas, will that accent be making a comeback?
Time will tell. Who knows? Yeah, I did catch something weird down there, so let's hope it doesn't come back too strong.
Okay. Hobbies outside of soccer?
Just being with my family and friends, honestly. Anything outdoors I enjoy, but mostly spending time with my family and friends. That's huge for me.
Do you have any pregame rituals or superstitions?
I always have to put on my right glove first. That's a huge thing. That's pretty much it, just because game day can vary so much. So I try and keep it simple.
Do you have any post-game rituals?
Not really, no. Nothing crazy.
Biggest soccer girl problem?
Oh, gosh. Always being hungry. Being an athlete, you're always hungry.
If you weren't a pro soccer player, what would your job be?
I think I would have gotten into nursing for sure.
Besides soccer, what are you passionate about?
What am I passionate about? Soccer's my main thing. I love reading. I love just seeing people grow as humans and expanding themselves and just constantly learning. I love learning, so that for sure.
What motivates you in life and in soccer?
Mostly just trying to be the best person I can be, whether that's athletically or just as a human being. I think we all have something to offer to the world, and I just want to make sure what I'm offering is genuine and true.
How's Victoria doing?
My girl Vic's doing very well. You will be making the move down to North Carolina with me.
Good to hear, good to hear. The necklace that you wear is your good luck charm, but I've never seen it up close, so what's on it?
On my necklace, I have a soccer ball, an Italian pepper, and then an elephant. It's just kind of representation of my family. I used to have a cross, but unfortunately I lost it, but it was just kind of the thing around my neck that keeps me close to home.
Do you wear it during the games?
I used to wear it during games, but now I'm scared it's going to get broken, so it stays in the locker room while I'm playing.
Do you have any other nicknames besides Sabs?
Sab or Sabs is the only one.
Sabs. Is that a family nickname? Because it sounds like something that your dad or someone from your family would have given to you. Who started calling you that?
My family calls me Sabrina. Sabs came from my U17 goalkeeper coach. Honestly, growing up, I used to be called Bree, but then with our youth national team, there was a Bree on the team, so I got changed to Sabs.
Yeah. Sabs, that's a great nickname. I really love that nickname. Can I call you that?
Yeah, of
Okay,
course.
good. So, anyways, Sabs. You have a tattoo on your arm that says, "One moment at a time," and then behind your ear, a maple leaf. Besides these tattoos, do you have any others?
I have an arrow on my wrist, and that's it.
Favorite food?
Ooh. Favorite meal is chicken parm, but if I had to live off of one thing for the rest of my life, it would probably be rice. Plain white rice.
Favorite band and or solo artist?
I've been into the Lumineers lately, so I'm going to go with them.
Favorite TV show, and it can be a show currently on the air or a show no longer on the air, just overall favorite TV show.
That's tough. It's definitely a tie between Grey's Anatomy and The Office.
We know you're an Adidas athlete, so what's your favorite Adidas product?
Favorite Adidas products? Probably their cleats. Their Ace cleats for sure, the women's style.
Are you any closer to living out your dream of riding an elephant?
I have a feeling I'm going to have to wait till I retire to do that. I think that's going to have to be like a vacation getaway, but I don't think I have the time for a vacation right now, so
Okay.
Not yet.
Celebrity crush?
Ooh, Ryan Reynolds.
Celebrity people say you look like?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I haven't gotten one of those before.
Well, if you keep playing the way you've been playing, people will be saying that they look like you. Go-to song when you're singing in the shower?
Depends on my mood. Right now it's Chunky by Bruno Mars.
If you could trade places with anyone in the world for a week, who would you trade places with and why?
Oh gosh. Let's go with Blake Lively. I'd like to see what her life is like, being in the shoes of an actress.
And that Ryan Reynolds connection. I see what you did there.
Yeah, that's smart, eh?
If you could stay one age forever, how old would you stay and why?
Well, I've only had 23 years of living, so yeah, we'll go with 23 since 23 was so great.
Every time I see you, you're always happy, you're always smiling, you're always laughing, you're always having a good time. But there has to be something that bothers you. What's your pet peeve?
Pet peeve. Maybe when people are chewing with their mouth open, like gum, and they're just kind of smacking their gum. If I'm not in the right mood, then it just kind of gets under my skin.
People always say to play goalie, there has to be something off about you, something wrong with you. Since you play goalie, what's wrong with you?
Gosh, which we go with? I think I'm a little bit weird. The fact that I have a stuffed animal monkey that still travels with me, I think might be a little off. We'll go with that one.
The last time we saw you in action was back on February 4th in the bronze medal celebration match versus Mexico. How do you think you performed in the game?
Not bad, not my greatest, but not my worst. It was nice to kind of get the rust off and get back into the swing of things, and definitely excited to head to Algarve soon, but yeah, we'll go with not great, but not terrible.
I thought you played well. The first shot you faced, the first save you made, was very impressive because here you are, coming off a long layoff. It had been a long time since you've been in there, and you were coming in cold to the game. Stephanie Labe, she played the first half, you played the second half, and that was the first shot you faced. So that was very impressive.
Thank you.
Now, you probably don't want to relive this moment, but I have to ask you, what happened on that goal that you gave up? Because it was very strange what I saw, because it looked like you could have made that play, it looked like you could have made that save, it looked like you could have either caught the ball in the air or at the very least you could have punched the ball away. And I say it was strange because it looked like Shalina Zadorsky, there was some sort of miscommunication between you two. It looked like she thought that you were on the other team because she kind of boxed you out. What exactly happened on that goal?
Oh, no, that was not She's problem at all. Okay. Not She's fault. I just got drawn into the crowd in front of me and should have been a little bit patient and taken a couple steps back and caught it for sure. I got drawn into the crowd in front of me and, yeah, lost track of the ball, and it was just a disaster after that.
Now, I'm going to put you on the spot, and you have to answer. You have to get off the fence and pick someone. Of the players that retired that day, who will you miss the most?
Oh, that's tough.
That's why I said you got to get off the fence. I said you got to get up.
I can't pick one. They all bring something totally different to the team. That's not fair.
I had a feeling that you wouldn't pick someone, so I had to take a chance and ask you anyways, because maybe you'd surprise me.
No, sorry.
But anyways, moving on. The Algarve Cup is right around the corner. How much are you looking forward to that? You have a lot of history there.
Yeah, I'm very excited, and there's a couple new teams in the tournament, so I think it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But yeah, definitely excited just because that's where I did earn my first cap, and we did win the tournament, so it's our goal for sure to go back there and win the tournament again.
I've said this for a while now, and I'm going to keep saying it until it's no longer true, but with the disappearance of Hope Solo and her future still being up in the air, she might come back, she might not come back, who knows. I'd say because she's no longer in the picture, the three best goalkeepers in the world right now are all Canadian. There's you, there's Stephanie Labe, and there's Erin McLeod. Erin McLeod, her resume speaks for itself. She's played in all the major tournaments. She's done great at the highest level in the sport, and I've heard she's coming back. I've heard she's healthy now. I don't know when she's going to be returning, but I've heard she's ready to play, so she's in the mix. Then there's Stephanie Labe. She was playing, in my opinion, the best out of any goalkeeper in the NWSL before the Olympic break, and maybe I have seen it before, and I just can't remember it off the top of my head, but I can't remember a goalkeeper who was punished by their club team for playing in the Olympics, because after the Olympic break, they just stuck with Kelsey Weiss. They never went back to Stephanie Labe. I can't believe that happened, because I thought she was playing the best out of anyone in the league, and then when the Olympics were over and she performed very well at the Olympics, I thought they would go back to her without any hesitation, but for whatever reason they decided to not go back to her and they stuck with Kelsey Weiss. But because of the way Stephanie Labe has performed as of late, she's definitely in the mix for consideration to be one of the top goalkeepers in the world. And then there's you, and that performance that you had in the NWSL Championship instantly puts you in the conversation for being considered one of the best goalkeepers in the world. You really did move the boulder. It was amazing to watch you do what you did in that championship game. So I don't know who's 1, 2, and 3. Only time will tell, but as of right now, those are my 3 top goalkeepers in the world. Now, have you talked to John Herdman? Has he said anything to you about what he plans to do with you going forward? Obviously, because of the position you play, there can be only one, and right now there's a lot of competition on the team for that number 1 spot. So has he said anything to you at all about what he plans to do with you going forward?
I think we're all just kind of competing for that starting spot, and it's Steph's right now, obviously, but I mean, we're all going to be fighting for it, and any day it could be anybody's spot, but there's still 3 more years until the World Cup and then 4 till the Olympics, so there's still time for everything to kind of unfold.
What's your goal for 2017 as an individual player?
Just to continue to grow and challenge myself as a player in all aspects of my game, and I think for sure it's to go out there and have another great season with the Flash, or now with the Courage, sorry.
Sure.
And with the Canadian team to just kind of continue to push myself to really challenge Steph for that starting position.
Person you look up to the most?
Oh, that's tough. My parents, for sure.
What's the best thing that ever happened to you?
The year of 2016 so far.
What's the worst thing that ever happened to you?
Worst thing? Oh gosh. I don't know if I truly have a worst thing. Some of my youth World Cups were pretty rough, not making it out of our group stages. So I'll go with those.
Some people are afraid of spiders, some people are afraid of heights, some people are afraid of the dark. What are you afraid of?
Snakes, for sure. Hands down.
I agree. I hate snakes, too.
Not too fond.
Time period you'd like to go back and visit, and why?
I'd like to go visit my college years again. I think just how much I've grown as a person since then, knowing what I know now, to kind of go back and apply it in college would be really cool to see what would happen, for sure.
What's your hidden talent?
Oh, hidden talent. Gosh. I can secretly draw when I want to.
Number 1 thing on your bucket list?
We'll go with riding an elephant.
If you could change one thing about the world, what would you change and why?
I think just all the negativity. I think people immediately go to the negative things instead of looking at the positive outlook on everything. So I think if everybody just had a positive mindset and outlook, maybe the world might be a little bit happier in some areas.
Sab's last question. Let's say you were on death row and about to be executed. What would your last meal be? And I need an entree, a dessert, and a beverage. What would your last meal be?
We'll go with a Coke. Nice Coke. Chicken parm, for sure, with some pasta. And then for dessert, like a molten lava cake. It'd be amazing.
Sabs, congratulations on winning a bronze medal at the Olympics, winning the NWSL Championship, and being the game's MVP. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you do in 2017. I wish you continued success, and thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure and fun.